thing? Yep. Okay, so I just wanted to follow up the networking part before I get stuck into all this stuff. Because for years I wasn't really a big fan of networking. And last year, I was in Fiji and I was reading this book called The 80-20 Manager by a guy called Richard Koch, which is an awesome book. But in there he had a section, and what he talked about was he talked about the red cards and the green cards. And I forget which one's red and which one's green, but he said it's a big lottery in life. He says, and red cards is like you get a degree, you become good at your trade, you become good at your skill. And you can only have, you're not going to have like 23 degrees. You can only have like 1 or 2 red cards. He says in green cards, he says you can have hundreds of them. And he calls them loose connections, which is what we're gathering, what we're gathering today. And I sat down, and I just want you to encourage you to do this, at some stage. I sat down and I looked at, all of the biggest clients that I've got, all of the different, big opportunities that happened in my life, how I met my wife, all those things. And it was amazing how many of them came down to networking. And I'd never ever thought about that, before in my life. But I looked back, and it might be like my biggest client was introduced by one person who was introduced by another person who was introduced by another person who was introduced by another person. So it was like 5 deep. But then that person, that client was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for me. So I just wanted to confirm what we were saying about the 4 networking, that if you do that process, it was a mind blower for me. Anyway, I'll get on to the next process and what I need, because what we're going to do in this session is we're going to write an ad. So I'll probably be sitting down there, and we might need a volunteer because we'll bring someone up on stage. So the whole process of this is I'm going to work on writing an ad for someone on stage, and at the same time as I'm writing the ad, if you guys, because we want to really walk away from here with something practical that you can just throw up on Facebook or throw in the newspaper or whatever, and you've got a bit of a plan rather than just a data dump. So I need a volunteer. Anyone? So we've got a volunteer? Yep, if you want to come up. Give me a hand of applause. Thanks, Johnny. So I might sit down here, and then we'll and I'll grab out my Word document. So the first thing we want to talk about is a headline. And remember, we talked about the headlines here. So you'll probably have this from earlier. But let's look at, so we want to create a headline. Now, so your target market, I know you mentioned it before, but who is your target market is sort of 35, 45-year-old men who are sort of adventure seekers and that sort of thing?
I mean, there's, like I said, different avatars. The one I was mentioning, all the guys that kind of...
I'm over the mic, yeah.
The teenagers to late 20s.
Yep.
Does that any good?
Yeah, we'll miss them. So teenagers, I'll just talk. So teenagers to late 20s. So let's pick one of the avatars. So teenagers to late 20s is the avatars. So and these are good clients, right? Teenagers, late 20s.
Yeah.
What's motivating them to go out there?
They're looking for fun on the weekend. So they cashed up through the week. They might be apprentices, like tradie apprentices, or office guys. They're cashed up and they're looking for some fun on the weekend. They'll have a go at snowboarding for the winter, and then come summer they'll either try their hand at paintballing, motocross. They'll do a bit more action sports. They'll skydive every now and then. They just want to live on the edge that little bit.
There's a paintball company in here as well. Have you guys connected?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before, and their marketing plan and where that kind of went. So
Yeah, because there might be a potential there. So what we've got...
Choose.
So, and as I'm doing this, everyone, like scribble down for you, relate it directly to your business. So I thought this is far better because it makes it real, and we've got a real situation here on stage. So they're cashed up. They're looking for fun on the weekend. They're trying their hand on different things. If all of us were teenagers to late 20s, it was late, you were the last speaker of the day, and you had to say one sentence, and everyone's like rushing out the door, and you got one chance to keep everyone in the room, what sentence would you say?
Just to put me on the spot.
What's that?
Just to put me on the spot. But wait. So one sentence to sum it up. I guess like the newest adventure sport destination in New South Wales, or the ultimate destination sport in New South Wales.
Ultimate. Because what's the rush? What's the uniqueness about your sort of adventure sport as compared with all the others? Most people haven't done wakeboarding, have they?
No.
And it's similar to snowboarding, like compared with skiing. Compared with skiing. So, what we're looking at is what's going to really get them to stop. The teenagers, they're looking for fun. They want to be with their mates. Tell me more about these teenagers and
they
20s.
Party by night and play by day.
Party by night, play by day. So if we've got let's say a Facebook ad, these teenagers are on Facebook with their mates. They're doing what they're doing. We're going to let's look at a headline. So the ultimate destination sport in New South Wales, party by night, play by day.
For those guys that are looking at Facebook, I guess, and if we're targeting to young teenagers that know what wakeboarding is, if I said something like, you can now wakeboard on a Malibu wake setter for $35 per person. Like
yes. So if it's targeted, and if you've got a targeted people who are into wakeboarding. So what was it? You can
now ride behind a Malibu wake setter for $35 per person, because it takes a picture of the $100,000 boat and makes it $35 for the ultimate package. Like you can actually access that now at an affordable rate for everyone. Or you could like target a family and say, you can now get the family on a Malibu wake setter for $150 for the day or something.
And they
be like a pro. But if these guys are party guys, they want to take it to the next level, right? That's their game. So why don't you go the angle of saying, take skiing to the next level?
Yeah, or you could say snowboard on water. Snowboard on water. Yeah, that's quite.
No snow coming.
Yeah, for
yeah.
Why wait till it's cold?
Yeah.
You know what you could do on Facebook as well? You could target people who are into skiing and say, ski season's over, because ski season's about to be over, right?
Yeah.
So you could target people.
I've really thought about that this year because the season's been so good at the snow. There's a lot of people that have given it a go this year. Like there's a lot of people going, oh, it's so good, let's go and check it. And I'm thinking, come summer, they're going to have that confidence of riding a board. They're probably going to want to have a go at water sports.
So you could say that wakeboarding is a wet dream for a snowboarder?
I like that. I like that.
Is there copyright on that?
That's cool, isn't it?
Actually, can you see what we've got here? Because you want to make your headline pop. You know what I mean? You want to make it where everyone goes, that just, and you know it when it emotionally gets you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh. So, I mean.
So we're going to measure the success of these ads too.
What's that? The only problem you might have with that one is the Facebook limitations, but let's just run with that for now. So ski season's over, wakeboard is a dream. And you'll test different headlines. So, but if you're going to snowboarders, and you'll probably be able to target snowboarders to a degree. You know, I'm sure there's like some sort of a thing on Facebook. Then you'll be able to really dig in there. Do you know what I mean? Or you can target the general skiing community.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Motocross has been a good market for us.
And
a lot
motocross.
of guys motocross, and again, they've got the toy as a motorbike, but come summer, they want to have that water sport thing too.
So another one you could have is Love Motocross. Love Motocross. Or Motocross Rider. Motocross Rider says wakeboarding is even better.
Oh. they just like they just punched the screen, I think.
Read his story here.
And then there'll be anonymous.
What about surfers?
Surfers?
Obviously, they enjoy surfing, so if they've got a weekend where there's no surf, no waves this weekend.
Yeah.
Like they get on the wave.
There's a new trending sport called wake surfing, and I don't know if you know about these boats, but they put in about 2.5 ton of ballast in the boat, so they fill up the whole bottom of the boat with water, and they literally make waves behind the boat, so you can surf without a rope behind the boat. And I mean, that's just a market for us to say to surfers, here, come surfing. It's not the same wave, but essentially, and I've thought of a TV ad to run with that, like to learn how to surf in 5 seconds, because you can literally get behind the boat, go take off, and stand up and surf within 5 seconds. And I'm thinking, for those people that don't want to paddle to learn how to surf, which is the biggest obstacle in surfing, is paddling, that's an option for us to go with surfers. But it's a bit like skiers and snowboarders, and like sailing guys with a yacht and a catamaran. It's a bit like wakeboarders and surfers. That it's like that rivalry, the black and white. And some surfers like it, some wakeboarders like crossover. I mean, I'd do whatever. But there's some surfers out there that they've got that ego and they don't want to wakeboard. And that's, I mean, it's that momentum point where you tip over the majority and they go, okay, we accept it now, let's just do it.
Yeah.
But it's that tipping point.
And see what we've got here is we're doing the comparison, so you can go in at right angles, like to motocross, to anyone into adventure sport, because I bet you most of your clients are into a lot of other adventure sports.
Yeah.
Most of your best clients, they don't just do wakeboarding, they do sort of, you know, probably rock climbing or whatever, you know, lots and lots of different. So what you can do is you can identify all of the different adventure sports that are around. So you get on an Excel spreadsheet, you just write them all down, and then you can target them individually via Facebook and just go boom, boom, and you have these individual ads. So let's dig deeper, and as you're listening to this, think, how does this apply to me? And create your own headline. So let's go for ski season's over, but wakeboarding, I think that's that one got the most laughs anyway. So let's run with that one. So something like if you've ever, yeah,
keep them rolling.
So if you love snowboarding and would like to be able to do it all year long. So we'd probably have an ad, a very simple ad about the ski season's over on the Facebook page. So that would be a very simple ad, and then we take them to a separate page, which is your landing page. So this is the beginning of that. So if you love snowboarding and would like to be able to do it all year long, this could be the most important message you ever read. Now, or the most exciting message you ever read. So now, if anyone else for everyone else you ever read, you can apply that. That's a really good opening. Gary Halbert, otherwise known as the Prince of Print, I got that from him. But if you could, or if you suffer from back pain, this could be the most important message you ever read. Yeah, if you are looking to find a builder who won't rip you off, this could be the most important message you ever read. Yeah, if you're looking to for a home loan to pay your home off in 7 years instead of 25, this could be the most important message you ever read. Okay, so then we go on to here's why.
Sorry, can I just say something?
Yeah.
It's like you just go to so many markets there, and like a lot of young people are also sort of on the periphery of like the pseudo-spiritual, all the writing diary and all those things. So would you do like bang, thrill seeker, be here now?
Yeah, you can go. Well, the beauty of particularly with Facebook, you can dig in and go into very specific markets.
So what are you doing here? You're targeting all those separate markets. How many?
Oh, with this one, we're targeting ski seasons, but you can have separate ads for motocross riders, for surfers. So you can have separate ads, but they don't have to be that different. Do you know what I mean? They can still have a similar sort of theme, and it's the same for your business. Like you're going to have different target markets. Like if we look at the beauty side of things, you might have a target market for teenagers, you might have a target market for 30 to 40-year-olds, 40, 50. They're all at different sort of space, different stages of their life with different problems that they're facing. So you might have one for pimples, teenagers coming out with pimples, and then you've got an anti-aging one, and then you have different types of angles. So if you love snowboarding and would like to be able to do it all year long, this could be the most exciting message you ever read. Here's why. So so here's why. Well, why could it be the most exciting message you ever read? Because according to XYZ, and we pull up some studies, right? I'm sure there's some studies being done on wakeboarding. It's reasonably popular. Yeah. So according to XYZ, I won't go and do the studies now, but XYZ magazine, wakeboarding is the single most popular sport, the strongest growing sport in the country. According to XYZ magazine, wakeboarding is and then you can do all the benefits. You could even bring in, it helps with, it helps relieve stress. That's right. Connect with your mates, etc. So what we're looking to do here is we're looking to apply to the benefits of this target market. Now, if this is going to teenagers and early 20s, stress probably isn't the biggest issue, so we may not have as much stuff about stress specifically in there. But if it's going to 30s, guys with kids, then we're going to focus more on the stress. I imagine 20s and teenagers, they don't have as much stress, right? They just want to have a good time and go out and party.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So in the country. Yeah, and you could say, and it's a great excuse for a party. And then you might paint a picture. There's nothing quite like, going out, the feeling against your skin. And then you do a lot of picture copy there in terms of, there's nothing like the feeling against your skin, of the water, the rush you experience, as you bounce along the waves, etc. So you go into that. You've got and then you for this sort of thing, we would probably close off with because it's only, $35 or something for them to try it out. Yeah. You would probably just, I don't know if for this sort of thing we'd go down a free report line. You might test both. You might say for a free info pack or something like that. Yeah. but you can probably just sell it hard for $35. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a instant
I think
decision.
that's the benefit of it is so accessibly cheap.
Yes.
Like, we've got, moving into a new website development, we've got a page of like experience and coaching, so they can, like we could just say, here's your tips if you've never tried it before, how to get up, like how you're going to learn to stand on the water or something like that, how to do your first jump, check out this video package.
Yeah. So you could test different closes, but you could say, you know, because do people come for several hours or do they?
Yeah, they'll book for half day, full day, 3 hours, something like that. It depends how many people are there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like for your first ride, we could say 40% off for your first outing or something like that.
I mean, you could say special Facebook offer. Yeah. Normally, you offer for surfers, or for skiers.
Money back if you can't stand up.
Yeah, you could. That's actually good, you know, because that's people's fear. I'm going to go, I won't be able to stand up. And this is where coming into the objections. So, and it's a great experience. There's nothing quite like feeling. Yeah, and so the objections are can't stand up. The best part about it is that if you can't stand up, that it's easy to stand up. It's easy to stand up. In fact, if you can't, in fact, it's so easy that if you can't, we'll refund your money. Would you be happy to do that? Like, is that realistic?
Yeah, I mean, we've actually sold it to the point that we will guarantee you get a 100% success rate so far. So,
But see, and that would be a good ad on Google for people targeting searching for wakeboarding.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Guaranteed, you can stand up, blah blah blah. So you could really dig into that. So the best part about it all is the easy to stand. In fact, so easy if you can't, we'll refund your money. Special offer for skiers. Order now, and while it's normally X, you get it for X as a part of a special marketing test, valid until date. Yep.
What about the angle someone was saying yesterday about not discounting but giving more? Instead of refunding their money, what about if you can't stand up in your lesson, we'll give you another lesson for it?
Yeah, you could go either way and you could test both.
You haven't lost your money, and you give them another go, and if they do crack it, then they become a customer.
Yeah, but it depends on what percentage of people can stand up on their first time.
A lot of it comes down to technique. So when we've got microphone, like helmets on with microphones and stuff, we talk to them.
Yeah.
And they're kind of resisting. And as soon as we say, relax, let your arms out, they'll just pop up straight up. So it's about technique. And once
So if you were to do a percentage, would it be 98% can stand up, or?
Like it might take 3 or 4 goes.
But they can stand up.
They'll get up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had 100% get up.
So if only, like with some businesses, there's because with guarantees, with some businesses, there's stuff that's out of your hands. Do you know what I mean? So you'd need to be careful in the way you structure your guarantee. But with what you're telling me now, is everyone can stand up.
Yeah,
but they've got a fear.
There's probably more of a motive with what Paul's saying to say, oh, if I don't stand up, I'm going to get my money back. But if we kind of say, if I don't stand up, I'm going to get another lesson. Like, so I'm going to try it anyway.
Yes.
So it's more of an incentive to stand up because you're only going to get another shot to try and stand up.
Yes.
It's not going to go, I'm getting money back for it. So
yeah.
I hear both sides of the story.
Yeah,
there,
so you could test both approaches.
Yeah.
But man, if I travel all the way out there,
you're going to want to do
for
it.
$35, I'm not going to stand up so I can get my money back. Do you know what I mean? I don't think many people are going to do that. So because there's a fair commitment to get out there, right? So as we're doing this, can you see that? Can everyone see the structure that we're going through? Because what it is, the way you want to think about it is a bar stool conversation. So so the conversation goes like this. Oh man, ski season's over. Oh yeah, but man, I tell you, wakeboarding is just as good. wakeboarding's not just as good. And wakeboarding, man, if you love snowboarding and you'd like to be able to do it all year long, you really, really can. Oh, really? Yeah. According to XYZ magazine, it's the fastest growing sport in the country. It's incredible. Oh, and who else is doing it? Oh, you know who else is doing it? And maybe you could drop a few celebrity names in here. Sport in the country. With Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, George Clooney, all raving about it. And you may find stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So you couldn't put them in your ad, but you could drop in, according to XYZ, they're doing it. Do you know what I mean? So you can. That's where the research factor is so critical. Is that you need to do the research, to find this data. And when I write an ad, I'll generally spend 40% of the time on research, 40% of the time writing it, and then 20% of the time on the editing. So you want to do that, and then when you've done the research, the ad just flows, so easily. So there's nothing quite. It's a great excuse for part. There's nothing quite like the feeling. They're raving about. Oh, really? Oh man, it could be a good excuse for a party. Oh man, it's the best. The adrenaline you get. The adrenaline you get will bond you with your mates. Greater than anything you can ever imagine. So you might want to reword that slightly, but that's the idea. Man, there's nothing quite like the feeling you get against your skin, the rush you experience, you bounce along the waves. Oh yeah, but hang on a second. What if I can't stand up? Don't worry about it if you can't stand up. If you can't stand up, the guys will refund your money. Oh, really? Oh, but is it expensive? Well, it's $35 now, which isn't bad, but you know what? They got this deal going on at the moment, and if you do it now, you can get it for $20 for the first hour. Can you see how it's a conversation going on there? And when you think of it as a conversation and you talk right, because all I've been doing is talking and then writing here, it just flows so much more easily. What do you think? Is that a structure? You can sort of flesh it out a bit more, but it's worth testing?
I'll put it to the room. Is that gold or is that gold?
Well, see, you've got an angle for older people. You could go into Facebook and, for example, this is just something that come to mind. As you get older, because when you wakeboard, is it sort of a bit like weight training in terms of there's a lot of muscle being used, right?
If you can stand up, if you can walk, you can wakeboard. Because it comes down to technique.
Yeah.
And essentially you're standing on a platform bigger than what you cover to walk on. So
yes.
And it comes down to technique. Not so much strength.
Yeah.
Technique. Yeah. Actually, as a matter of fact, my nan's 81. And I'm not sure if you follow Free Motion Sports on Facebook, but she comes out tubing with us. And talking about marketing, we're just about to do a YouTube video as it warms up a bit on my nan, and just really, because it's going to get people talking. And we put a post on a couple of months back about nan. She was 80 for her 80th birthday, and she went tubing. We put it on GoPro website and YouTube, and it got something like 71,000 hits.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, this is an 80-year-old grandma who just is a talking point for our business.
You know what you can do with that? Because you can go on Facebook and you can actually promote that post. And you can get it out there.
That's where it comes from.
Oh, that's where you did it. You promoted the post and went there. Yeah.
So the next step for us was we need to get some video happening and a bit of an interview with Nan.
Yes.
And so she was really shy to start with. And I said, oh, no, let's kind of work with this a bit. And she's just out there now, let's just go and let's go and skydive, let's go and get out there. We'll go paintballing.
And this is a market for the old people. You say 81-year-old Nan is doing it, watch her do it, and if you're 65, 70, there's no excuse. Do you know what I mean? You can have a story and a video of her up the top, and same structure. Do you know what I mean? We're doing right talk. So that's awesome. So let's give Johnny a hand of applause.
Cheers.
So how are you feeling about that?
Clear. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. Awesome. How are you going to use that? Because that's good, that's quality, one of the best in our country. How are you going to use that?
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
What else?
On there. I think we haven't looked at Google AdWords for a while, like into how we can kind of access that, but I think this would kind of resonate a bit more with our Facebook fans. And like with the promotion of that page, so you have the picture and then have that headline.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll be seeing, and then take them to the page kind of thing to follow up there.
Yeah.
Where else, Scott, could he use this?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is ski magazines. So what I would do is test it on Facebook and see if it gains traction, because you can test it quite cheaply on Facebook. And as soon as it's a winner, then you've got skiing magazines, you've got Google, because whenever anyone looks up skiing, bang, you send them to the same page. And it's not a squeeze page, so you just put that page on your same site. So Google, we've got skiing magazines, even the local newspaper. You could probably get away with it, because skiing is such a broad thing. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as the more targeted ones, but there's potential that it'd be worth the test. Yeah,
What about a mail out, like a letterbox drop? Would this work? Or is it too broad?
The more broad you go, the worse. Because I guess my question is, what percentage of people are skiers? Because if it's only 5%, then ski season's over, is sort of like, they're like, well, who cares? Do you know what I mean? So with a group like that, I mean, if I was going to go letterbox drop, I'd probably try and do something more around, have the time of your life wakeboarding, or, I'd give it a different angle, most likely. Do you know what I mean? But if it works really well, you'd spend $200 on a test and see. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'd do an article on your nan and send it to a magazine.
PR, massive opportunity. Because
it's free. It's a free opportunity to expose your nan. Sorry, nan, we're going to use you for like 12 months. You are going to get paid nothing. You will get hugs.
I think it's a really good angle.
It's a great angle, and if she's prepared to play, then...
And I found with our industry, it's a lot of guys are like, and I mean, I could speak from my experience because I worked without my family supporting me to get the boat, to get what I wanted. A lot of other kids have got their parents to just buy whatever, you have it, have the boat, have the go. And so I can really see the perception where guys go, oh, it's a rich kid's sport, it's this, it's that. I'm thinking, it's not about that. It's about the lifestyle. It's about getting the family together. It's about getting Anne out there. It's about getting the kids out there. And it's about telling everyone it's actually affordable. Like,
yes.
It's there for the offer. It's there to take. Come and have fun. It's not just a rich kid's sport. And I think that's where I want to sell my story as well.
So, I mean, a good challenge would be, if this 81-year-old nan can wakeboard at 150 k's an hour, we're
going to do it. We're going to do it. It's 150 k, nan. Hold on. My only advice: hold on. And you can even, run with this. I don't know. Appropriate, inappropriate, I don't know. We got duct tape. Duct tape her hands to the things she can't let go. 150, get it on YouTube.
And then the follow-up line, are you man enough to do it?
Are you man enough? So we're going to let's go hike them. So what about if we take Nan down to the snow? What about if we take Nan down to the snow and say wakeboard, snowboard? And what about if we could even say, snowboarding's terrible. Find a broken snowboard. We hate snowboarding, but we love wakeboarding. My nan can do it.
On top of that would be granny board, ? Snowboard.
And then you go and talk to Pete over there with Ultimate Paintball. Nan's going to play paintball. So cross-marketing. Yeah.
She's your grandma, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's in for, right?
Some people call it exploitation. We're going to call it marketing. Whatever. Don't judge us. All right, yeah, Pete?
John, you spoke about the wake surfing. Is your boat built for wake surfing? I know you got, yeah. Has that taken off?
Yes and no. It's one of those. There's a lot of grey area, and I've promoted it from a business point of view, and and I certainly do it. But from a legality point of view, it's not black and white yet. So I still do it because you're allowed to. But there's a lot of approvals and a lot of conflict from like maritime and that kind of thing to say you pollution from the back of the boat, you're too close to the boat. The wake's not so much an issue because they restrict you to the deeper water anyway. But it's more a pollution thing because you're only like myself to Steve from the back of the boat, and their claim is that there's pollution levels with the carbon monoxide and that kind of stuff. And the boats are, they are absolute state of the art. They are not burning a single bit of fuel unused. And it's the cleanest they've ever been. So the boat companies are saying, we've got the safest emissions, you could be within a metre of the boat. So they want new standards to allow it. And then the legalities say, you need a 7-metre rope, but then you just pull yourself in a couple of metres and you're still there kind of thing. So, and we're allowed to do it. They kind of pull you up on it every now and then. So what are you doing? You've got a 7-metre rope. You can't really stop us.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is, for me, being middle-aged, wakeboard, snowboard, used to surf, what's the fastest growing water sport at the moment? It's the fastest growing water sport in the world, stand-up paddleboarding.
Yeah.
And then you got already stand-up paddleboards on the flat water. Everyone wants to surf. Now for me, in 12 months, I've spent $5,000 on boards because I want to surf more. When I saw that, I went, shit, yeah, I can have a constant wave that I can be on. Yeah. I've got a bad back, things like that.
Yeah.
That'd be mad. All those people are cashed up because they're all 40-year-olds. They're out there every weekend. They've got the latest and greatest. If it's just something, a fad that you can hook into the fastest growing sport. Hey, bring this up all day.
That, from a surfer's point of view, they're always looking for that endless wave. Yeah. And now we definitely provide that now. You could drive the whole river and back again and you still got a wave there. So that's a good angle that we've looked at. And learning to surf in 5 seconds is that thing that people go, I don't know if I can do it. But it's a good angle, but there is that bit of grey area, whether we can venture there. I'm thinking, what the heck? We might as well just do it and deal with it as we go. So, the boat companies are certainly fighting it for us, but we put it out there. There's summer that happens anyway, all day long. So.
Development applications, when you're doing the developments, do it and apologise later.
Well, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Surf the endless wave, though. It's got an appeal for surfers, right? The endless, So you've got a lot of different... And if you look at your business, there's so many... most people advertise and they just go, I'll throw one out in the local paper. And it's what I call sloppy advertising. It's just throw it in. Often, you'll get it written for you and you just throw it in and it's easy. But there's just, as we've seen, there's probably a dozen different angles and hooks you can go down. And what I might just, take advantage of now and what we've done is sit down and we might just take 5 minutes and write down a dozen different ways that you can approach your ad. A dozen different target markets. If you can't come up with a dozen, come up with 6. But just different ways you can approach your target market. And just a sample headline for each.
Just with that, what about a LinkedIn ad? When you're trying to target a corporate sort of function?
It could be.
Paintball as well. If you try to target there, there'd be companies that go, you don't like a team building thing, like what you're doing already with the paintball. Yeah. That could be another angle where you can get all your staff, team, whatever, together and go wakeboard. Consider there's no age limit or no.
Yeah, for sure. LinkedIn I'm a part of, but I never thought to advertise as a platform there, so that's a good
I think
insight.
It's a good idea because you can target, you could target whoever the event organisers are for big companies. Yeah. And again, it would be a different, market, like a different campaign because those people organising those events have different concerns. One an event that everyone's going to love, where everyone can stand up and, that's not just going to be the boring stuff that everyone else is doing. Do you know what I mean? So you go down that angle. Yeah.
Hassle-free organising,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah.
Nice stuff. Good work.
Round of applause for Johnny Vines.
anyone want to volunteer what they learnt from that exercise? Yep. Maybe there's the mic.
Hello, I'm Margaret, and I was thinking I'm really trying to create a new area in Wollongong, very different from my previous markets, and I've got breadth of skills. And so what I was thinking here would be to emphasise the coaching side of my business. I've done a lot of work in corporations, whatever, on strategic planning and a whole lot of other stuff, right, valuation. So here, I really, from what I've been reading and what I'm hearing, I was thinking I had to have one avatar. And that was really bothering me because I just didn't know where to focus. I don't know the area yet. So this is a really relieving exercise. And I was thinking that that there are a number of target markets. I didn't get to 10 so far. But I was thinking that people going from universities to work really were very, very, you know, it's really hard. And I think the 20-year-old, 20 to 30 period is a really difficult period in people's lives. And I've read a lot of research about this, and a lot of people, women for example, there are a lot of attempted suicides in that age group for women because they get so stressed about it all. The busy women in their 30s, 40s, juggling jobs, family, and feeling lost, they're losing themselves and probably getting very stressed. So how to go through that jungle and find pathways out. I thought another one was the corporate market, with which I'm very familiar. Done a lot of work in leadership. The senior executives who are trying to cope with keeping their organisations afloat, dealing with all the change in government policy, dealing with staff who are moving in and out and not really having much loyalty to organisations. Also the middle managers and how they're working with their teams and how they're coping with being the meat and the sandwich. I seem to be attracting people who are having relationship issues at the moment, so they're another group. Another group is the middle-aged people who've sort of been there and done it all and thinking, what now? What's left for me? Because I went through this. Families grown up, empty nest, been in senior executive positions, what now? Another one was those career transitioning into retirement, because the very thought of that actually makes me feel ill, absolutely ill. And so I'll never retire, they can cut me, I'll die on the job. And the other one is those having career changes, because that's really scary too. It always takes a bit of effort to get into a new place, because I've had many career changes. I invented, I think, the skills portfolio. I didn't buy into I'm working in my job for life, but I came through, and that was very much the thing to do. I haven't got to the headlines yet.
Yes. But
they're all my potential markets.
No, excellent. And the important thing to remember here when you say market, so you've got that as an overview, but you may work that down to maybe a top 3 to start with, because don't overwhelm yourself. But when you're going through that, did anyone think, hey, because remember, there's such thing as, or there used to be such thing as life coaches. And it's like, what the heck is a life coach? Do you know what I mean? Because it's sort of like, what does a life coach do? But in terms of, but when you say, so from a marketing perspective, it's like, well, it doesn't grab me. But if I'm going through a specific problem, like I'm transitioning from jobs, and I see a headline which says, do you need coaching with moving from, have you moved out of home and need coaching? Do you know what I mean? Like on how to do it, or that's not the best headline, but you know what I mean. It's like, boom, this is for me. And that's what you want your prospect to say when they look at your headline and say, this is for me. And what you'll find is that one of those markets is going to be more responsive. And over time, it's like plan A, plan B, plan C. You'll probably go, I am a whatever coach. Do you know what I mean? You might specialise in
what I think of myself is helping people be successful in whatever they're doing at whatever stage of life.
Yes.
So I'd be saying help people live their dream, or have success in life and work, or something like that.
From a marketing perspective, I think you want to niche down eventually, not straight away, on one. Do you know what I mean? So I'm the lady who specialises. It doesn't mean you can't take on other things if they come through, but I specialise on helping because our natural tendency is to go broad. I want everyone. Do you know what I mean? I'll take anyone. But what gets you? Are you suffering? Do you need a coach to help you because you're suffering from a divorce? If you're going through a divorce, bang, that gets you straight away. Whereas helping you with your life and making you overall life, it's like you just skip by it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but no, that's awesome. Thank you. So what we might do just to wrap up is to go through a typical ad, and let's see if we can punch out an actual opening and a closing, sort of based on this. So let's take a few minutes to let me bring up another example here. I might just use this. So based on what you've learnt so far, a headline. Actually, have we got anyone who sells a high ticket item?
High ticket, big price.
High ticket item, big price.
Maybe
Yep.
Michael and Lisa.
New homes. Yeah. Do you want to come up on?
Actually, we might get Michael and Lisa.
Or Michael and Lisa.
Yeah, they actually.
no,
Sorry, Jake. Wanted to. Michael and Lisa, you want to jump up, have a go? There's actually. Sorry, I wanted you to have a chat with Michael and Lisa earlier as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. We'll figure it out.
You were itching to come up here, I could see.
We'll get another stool.
So what do you guys sell exactly?
We're commercial builders, so
Yep.
We specialise mainly in interior fit outs, refurbishments, or builds.
Yep.
But we can do jobs up to $1 million, $1.8 million for big clients. Trying to sell something small is not going to work really. How do you get somebody to part with $1 million?
Yes.
Or 800,000 or 1.5. It's we do smaller ones, maybe 60 or 80 grand, which is fine. But some of our clients are, they're parting with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And who's your typical client?
Okay, well, our avatar is medical, so doctors, professionals, specialists. We do clients, the hospital, Wollongong Hospital, the uni, RFG, which is retail food group. So they are Michelle's Patisserie, Crust Pizza. We do, what else?
So really large
GPT.
corporates. And this is a good example so you can see the difference in terms of the target market. Because everyone loves Facebook and Google and it's all topical and it's great. And I love Facebook, Google. In this situation though, I would be going direct mail. Do you know what I mean? Because the reality of a high percentage of your audience seeing your ad on Facebook is probably fairly low.
Well, most of the people we deal with don't have time to Facebook, I would imagine. They're running huge corporations and big businesses and they're, they've got a huge portfolio of property that they're managing and they're not Facebooking in the middle of the day.
Yeah. So in this situation, and this is why it's understanding your target market, I would encourage more of a direct mail campaign. because then every dollar we spend is going to someone who is qualified. Do you know what I mean? So we're not going to waste any money on... Yeah, and even with Google, sure, they do a search, but what's the chance that it's a multi-million-dollar corporation doing a search? Well, it's probably 1 in 1,000. You know what I mean? When they do the search for building or whatever. So a direct marketing campaign. Now, I'll bring up a letter.
Can I just also say that another way we get business is architects as well and designers?
Yes, doing joint ventures and building
so not just,
relationships.
Yeah, and if they're designing a new build for or a refurb for the uni, they will have a list of preferred builders. So getting onto those lists so that we don't get given the job, but we get the opportunity to quote it.
Yeah, and
so
you would have two sort of avatars. One is your centres of influence avatar, which is the architects and designers, and the other one is the direct sort of approach. Is what I'm thinking. So I agree. And with the architects and designers, it's not so much you want to sell to them. What I would do is more have probably a newsletter where you're just in their face every month with good information, so that you're top of mind when they think, hey, we need a job done, and you're the ones that they're contacting.
Which is what happens with GPT. They're building the big centre in town. It's getting towards the opening. They need a lot of manpower. So, Michael rings, he goes up there, he talks to the guys that are running it, and when something comes up and they need it done quickly, they call us straight away.
Yeah, no, perfect. And I would even have a physical newsletter that goes out to both the architects and the target customers as well, and probably a slightly different newsletter, sort of angled at them differently, but more content. I don't think there's a need for a hard sell here, because you're not going to get someone to spend that money on a hard sell anyway. So
where you said information creates trust. The majority of my work I win is from trust.
Yes, no, and particularly at that level, and the sort of selling, like if you look at things like the book Spin Selling, which is based on studying thousands of salespeople who sold high-ticket items. Trying to close a sale when it's a high-ticket item, it actually works against you. So, it's a trust and it's a relationship thing. So let's...
When you talk about trust and other shelf history and stuff like that, you travel as well. So you run feeds, so that once you get that contract, the first one, so then you just travel and do all of them. So
we've got New South Wales, ACT, Victoria.
And when you do that, obviously the company knows that if they're getting a builder from New South Wales to quote on a job in Victoria, involved in that is costs for accommodation and travel. So you do put that as a line item in the quote, so that they know, okay, well, if we go to Victoria for a week, it's going to be $8,000 in accommodation, and that's factored into the price. So, if they're prepared to pay for it, we're prepared to travel.
You can also target franchise companies, so that you get a new franchise coming out, they're growing really quickly.
Yeah.
Then that's where you can target and say, what would be the preferred.
Yeah, well, you did.
It's all about consistency. They want a consistent product every time. So if they do a new shop fitter every time, they're not going to get that consistency. So
once you've done one, you can do them all. So we just did Michelle's Patisserie, and a couple of things didn't go in, and they say, hold on to that one for the next job.
I think
the same.
Within your newsletter, you want to be throwing every job you did. Do you know what I mean? Because you just layer on the proof elements, and they're like, oh, they did Michelle's Patisserie, they did these, and month after month, you're building like this massive trust, but you're building it on a mass scale. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't build massive trust with 3,000 people personally. Do you know what I mean? And you're building it in. And this is the sort of letter that I would recommend and the process is the same as the squeeze page, as everything I've shown you for this free report type of style. So we're starting with the headline. In this case, this was a letter I did up years ago to go to the States and smash your control, which means smash your highest performing sales letter, with this 7-minute secret you hope your competitors never discover. And then it goes through, there's an opening, there's an introduction of a free report, there's some bullets, and then a bit of an introduction, answering people's questions, and a close. And that's That's the sort of process I would go through with a high ticket item. So let's just do this. It'll probably take about 5 minutes. I just want to flesh out the sort of sales letter for you, and then we'll finish up. And as I'm doing this, if everyone wants to follow along, and then you'll have your own free, particularly if you're selling a high ticket item. And when I say high ticket, I mean anything $500, $1,000, $1,500 up, where it's not like a $35 wakeboard where you can just make a decision like that sort of thing. So the thing that I would encourage you to do is really go down to, so let's bring a fresh one here up. So we could start by, what sort of information would they be just chomping at the bit to get?
Because we're B2B, because we're business to business, it's more about timing, how long a job will take, and when can they be operating. So
one of the things they're probably wondering though is maybe how to choose someone.
Yeah.
So we could say it could be as simple as how to choose a, what is it? How would you phrase what you do? Choose a
fit out.
Fit out. How to choose a fit out for your company. Fit out builder for your company. And anyone could do this, and this is a really good one for Google AdWords for a lot of people. How to choose a mechanic, how to choose this. Just if you're in Google, just keep in mind that you can't send people to a straight landing page. So how to fit out, how to choose a fit out builder for your company. And you could then say something like, if choosing a fit out builder, so we jump straight into their concerns. Choosing a fit out builder is not easy. There's a lot of things to consider. And then you list the things. So you go thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. And if it goes wrong, it can cause all sorts of problems and potentially cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why we've created a very special report that reveals the 7 mistakes companies or pizza stores make, let's say, if you're targeting pizza stores, so you could tailor it. Stores make when they choose a fit out builder. Then you might have a picture of the report here.
Would you do when they choose the wrong fit out builder?
Yeah, you could. Or mistakes when they choose, A, or the wrong, we put the wrong fit out builder. Picture a report. Here's what you will discover in this eye-opening report. And this is a template that will work for anyone who's selling a higher ticket item. And then you have your bullets. Now for bullets, I'll send you a copy, but bullets is something like, the worst, the best question to ask to make sure you are not ripped off. This will make the dodgy guys run for the hills, or something like that. So you'd have like 7 or 10 bullets about the report.
Sort of like the questions they should ask to make sure they're getting
the right builder. The 7 questions you should ask, that sort of thing. And if you go to, Steve will send you that some of the examples, and that you can use them as a template. And then at the end you just say, and then you would close off from there. You might answer some objections. We only have limited amounts of this report, maybe amounts of this report. So call now on XXXX, or go to www.xyz.com. And that is basically a template that you can, do you know what I mean? You can take that and basically go, boom, you send it out, and you might send out 3 and you adjust the opening slightly. You keep most of the copy the same. And then you could also send out the newsletters, you know, that you do. Because that, and on the newsletters, you might do a 4-page newsletter, but on page 2 of the newsletter, you're offering a free report on how to choose a fit-out builder. You know what I mean? So you're constantly hitting them with that offer. That's how they come into your funnel. You've got your B pile who haven't asked for that offer, and you've got your A pile. They've asked for that offer, and you really nurture them and build them up, sort of thing.
So to create that, to get that database to who to send to, you just Google every medical centre in.
Well, there's companies like...
I've already done it, Michael.
Oh, you've done that? You got that database? There you go.
I have a database of 100 doctors. So I do stuff during the day. I know you don't think so. Yeah, I do databases. I'll show you Monday. Yeah, that's Tuesday.
That's great. Can everyone give Michael and Lisa a round of applause? Yeah, no, that's all I want to just say, just in finishing off, is just I encourage you to just get one ad out there. Like, we've covered a lot today, and sometimes it can be overwhelming when all this information comes, not to mention yesterday and whatever comes at you at once, but just take that template from here and what you've written down and just go out there and place an ad, because whenever you place an ad, you get data. And if you're doing stuff every week, you're going to be 52 times smarter than your competitor who does one thing a year or 2 things a year and rests on their laurels. And that's just going to, the compound effect is going to grow on that. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope you
round of applause. Thanks very much, mate. Fantastic. So you guys got this? Everybody cool? Yep. Is there a mindset thing going on here? Yeah? Is somebody pushing against it? Because that's okay. That's okay. That's perfectly normal. Who's pushing against it? Who's going, yeah, but? Put your hands up. I want to see it. Yeah, but? It's not for me. Yeah, that's cool. That is okay. All right? All I'm going to say to you is, people pay a lot of money to work with Scott. People pay a lot of money to work with Pete. All right? They're 2 guys now that people pay a lot of money to work with who are getting results for... Don't forget to get your money back too. Did you get your $5 back, Scott?
No.
You took it. My God, he's going to talk to you. He's going to talk about this room. My gosh. Listen, so we've walked through the process, and it's putting $5 in and getting $7 out. It's not about putting $5 in and expecting 100 times return of $500. All right, is it realistic? Or can it happen? Yeah, it can happen. Is it a bit unrealistic to think that's going to happen all the time? It probably is, because if it was that easy, Megan, she's not in the room. Fucker. If it was that easy, as my wife would say, everyone would be doing it. All right? It's not easy. So the challenge is mentally here. If you're pushing against it, that's cool, because it's something outside of what we've normally done. The challenge is just do it. All right? If it doesn't work, what have you lost? All right? Please don't go and run a $5,000 campaign in the Mercury or whatever. All right? Let's do some testing first through some low cost, low pain sort of strategies. Little results. Testing's good, testing good. Let's turn it up. All right? Turn the investment up to turn the return up. But let's go ground floor first. Yeah, makes sense? Yep. So, Scotty, if I was going to break this down, we've got our sexy offer. Okay, so if we went top down, we're trying to hit who we're talking to.
Yep.
Would you say? Yep.
Yeah.
With our headlines?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. How to choose a fit-out builder for your company. So that's going to land on the people that are looking for a fit-out builder. Are we going to miss heaps of people? Yeah, we are. We're going to miss a stack of people. But that's good, because once again, we use the fishing net analogy. We try and pull it all the way across. The holes open up, all the fish get through. All right? We're going 1 inch wide and a mile deep. Identify who we're hitting, and then give them some love in here. So the body of this would be focused more around, what would you say?
I mean, what we're doing is it's sort of a problem solution. So we're hitting them with the problem. Yeah, are these the things? Because it's a whole pain pleasure. People do more to avoid pain than get pleasure. So we've got to show them what can go wrong, which is the thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. And then we can present our solution, which is the report.
Yeah, the solution. I think you guys might have heard me say about find one person, make them one promise. So we're finding one person, we're going into problem and solution, and this is our promise. So this is what your problem is, this is what the solution is. If you deal with us, this is our promise to you that we're going to rock it. All right, and then as we work our way down, mate, what would you say sort of as we come down to the bottom? We're looking for social proof, or?
Yeah, I mean, you could include some other things in there, like you'd include some testimonials. You want to be careful with the free report offers because it just needs to be about the report, so you could include that. But in what we've got there, we're really doing the teaser bullets. So you want those, because the teaser bullets is sort of like, the best question to ask to make sure you're not ripped off. This will make the dodgy guys run for the hills. And as you read that, you're thinking, I need to know what that question is. Yeah, so that's the way you want to structure your bullets. And if you look at any good sales copy, you'll be able to find the bullets, and then you can just model that and adapt it to your copy.
Yeah, and that's why we did the avatar thing. Find out who it is. And then we get into their shoes and we walk in their shoes and say, well, what do they want? If you're that young kid with a cool group of friends and you're just looking for something to do because the snow's melted away and you're looking for something to do, well, you go wakeboarding with Johnny Vines. Of course you do. Actually, I thought of, when we were talking to Johnny, about the party island. So, I used to spend a little bit of time in Fiji. Beachcomber Island was known as the party island. The party island. If you're 21... and you're travelling around the world and you land in Fiji and you see something that says, what is that, the party island, boom, where are we going? Bloody oath, because that's created an image in your head. It's created an emotion that you've connected to and you're on the boat already. The party island. Who doesn't want to go to the party island? Never went there. Where is she? Clarification. Not interested in that sort of stuff. Drinking, shenanigans. But bang, you're the party man. You want to connect with guys that are just like you, that love having a great time and wakeboard and doing their fit, and they're just having heaps of fun during the day and then having a few beers at night. Yeah, you connect. You find you walk in their shoes. Everybody can do it. Everybody in this room. But you're going to have to challenge yourself to do it. Because if it's outside of that comfort zone, you have to acknowledge, especially if you're pushing against it, acknowledge that you're pushing against it. That's not suitable for me, that's not suitable for me. How do you know? If you haven't done it, I will challenge you. How do you know? Try it. If it doesn't work, then we can have that conversation. It wasn't suitable for me because I tried it and didn't get the results I wanted. But I'm going to suggest that Scott's saying to do it, Pete's saying to do it. If you don't do it, leave space here. Cool. Righto. So, thank you, Scott. That was incredible, mate. You enjoy it? Yep. Yeah, magic. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, man. Yeah.